everyone, this is Melissa, and I'm the talkative introvert. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of friend finder apps that I just started using. I'll walk you through the apps, the pros, cons, and my experience so far. But before we get into that, I know in the last episode, I was saying I'm not going to talk about my podcast journey or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe I was just being sullen or whatever. But, today I do kind of want to share what's going on. Not a lot has been going on. Nothing super crazy or anything like that, but I'm definitely noticing that I'm getting more followers, or listeners. Sorry. I'm getting more listeners. Oh, actually followers too. On Instagram, I just posted that I finally reached 100 followers, which may not seem a lot to some people, but to me, that's a lot because I don't really promote this podcast. I don't pay for any ads. It's all just word of mouth and, basically the hashtags that I use on my posts. And that's pretty much it. I don't pay anyone or anything. So it's all organic growth, if you will. So that's pretty crazy. But other than my Instagram followers, I've definitely gotten a lot of listeners now. It's more than doubled. I think last time, in the last episode, my podcast was kind of hitting a plateau. I don't know if I want to say that, but pretty much. But I don't know what happened. I think it's because I also, what's it called? I also, listed my podcast onto other platforms. So originally I was only on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And then automatically, when you get listed on Apple Podcasts, you also get listed on Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, and Castbox. But then I decided to put my podcast also onto Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn by Alexa, I guess is what you call it. I don't know. Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, and Listen Notes. And apparently there's a new one, Amazon Music / Audible, that I can start getting listed on. So I'll probably end up doing that too. And then I didn't do Pandora just because I was really lazy and you have to make up an account and all that and then get listed. But I'll do that too. I'm just lazy, to be honest, but I'll get onto that. But ever since I did that, I saw a lot more growth. I got more listeners and regular listeners too, because, you can see your stats and see where your listeners are coming from. And they're very specific to specific to the location and the city. And I've been getting a lot of the same people listening over and over again to all my new episodes, and they'll listen to it the first day or the second day it gets published or something like that. So I know they're avid listeners, which is awesome. Thank you so much for listening, by the way. So getting listed on these different directories, I've noticed definitely the growth. Like I said, my listeners doubled in size, and then my downloads also doubled. It's not a whole lot, but each episode now is averaging at 30 downloads, which, again, like I said, I don't pay for ads. I don't really sponsor this. I don't share it that much. I mean, I share it on Instagram, but that's about it. I'm not going out of my way to tell the whole world, hey, listen to my podcast. At least not as much as is expected if you wanted to really grow your podcast. So, to me, that's a lot just from putting this out there for people to listen to. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for, the people who did rate and review my podcast on Apple Podcast. So yeah, if you enjoy the show, even if you don't enjoy the show, I guess, please review and rate me on Apple Podcasts. And I think, what is it? I have to search that up for you guys because I know it's not just Apple Podcasts that you can leave a review, but if you do like the podcast, please go rate and review it and just share the love. Just, let other people know about this podcast and like, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, that's all I can say, I guess. Thank you. Thanks for listening and thanks for sticking around and listening to me blab about just whatever I guess I can think of. But yeah. And you probably know what's coming up next if you've been listening, but what has made this possible, what has made this podcast possible was getting listed on Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout makes it easy for any aspiring podcaster like myself get started and get listed on all the popular podcast platforms with their easy to follow instructions and numerous resources. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, I highly suggest getting hosted on Buzzsprout. New podcasters get a $20 Amazon gift card when you sign up for a paid plan. Follow the link in the description to let them know I sent you and to support the show. If you do start a podcast, please let me know. I'd love to hear all about it. And I'm being super sincere about that too. Like that's not just part of the ad. Because I've actually discovered a lot of new podcasts from just starting a podcast, because on Instagram, I do have a lot of followers who are also podcasters themselves, and I've been listening to some of them. And there's some really good content out there. Like there's definitely a whole lot of more introvert podcasts, and I totally did not know that there's like a whole, I don't know, market out there for introvert podcasts. I guess I just never really looked for it. But now I do. And it's just so interesting. Like, even though there's a bunch of other introvert podcasts out there, it's not really like convoluted, because it's like their experience, right? Like it's all different just because it's coming from a different perspective, and all of us introverts are not all the same. So it's really interesting to see or to hear like from a different person's perspective, like what's it like to be an introvert. And it's just been really interesting. And I've like chit chatted with some people, and hopefully, maybe down the road, maybe I can get some of them like as a guest on this podcast and like share their content too, because it's been really interesting listening to them. So yeah, if you do start your own podcast, please let me know, and like maybe we can guest on each other's podcasts. That'd be pretty awesome. I definitely want to get more guests on, and I definitely want to hear from other people. Right now it's just like friends and family, which is still cool because I love talking to them, and I've really enjoyed these episodes so far. And I have another one coming up. I have a couple actually, that I plan to do with like other friends and family. And yeah, so you'll get to hear from them too. And they're honestly just so much fun to do. So I can't wait to do them. I have one actually scheduled for this weekend with my bestie. So that will be a fun one. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have her on here. And I'm so excited for you guys to listen to her, because she's just like such a great conversationalist, if you will, I guess. Anyways, oh my goodness. Okay, so I took a little pause because Link is chewing his bone right now. And so I wanted to listen back to see if you can hear him, and you totally can. So sorry about that. But he is now in the other room. So so the rest of the episode, you shouldn't be able to like hear him chewing his bone. Okay, anyways. So this episode was inspired by the one I did with my friend Mia. So if you haven't listened to that, that is the introvert dating episode with my friend Mia Russell. So in that episode, we kind of talk about dating apps. And so I'm no longer in the game, haven't been for the past 13 years. So I have no interest in dating apps, but it was like just really fascinating. And like even my friend Bailey, she's like using dating apps too. And she's like going through the app with me, and I just thought it was like really fascinating, like how it works and all that, because like I would never be on a dating app just because like I'm married already, so I don't need to be. But then I was thinking, well, how about people who just want to find friends? Like it's actually really difficult to find friends as an adult, because other than like I guess your work colleagues, I'm like, at least for me, like I don't, I spend, well, we're in quarantine now, so I'm home all the time. But before that, majority of my time is spent with like my coworkers and then just people I already know. So if I were to like try to find new friends, like, me being the introvert that I am, it's not like I am going out all the time either. And I'm not really the one to initiate conversations. And I don't typically like go to a bar or like to a club or like anything like that to go look for friends either. So I was thinking like, it'd be kind of cool to see if there are apps to meet friends. So like not just dating, but like just platonic friends. And so I Googled it and I found these two apps. So I found Hey Vina and then I found, Bumble actually. So Bumble has a friend version of it. So it's not just dating. Because in the episode I did with Mia, she talks about that she uses Bumble for dating. So you can actually use Bumble to find friends as well. And so I just did the only two apps really because the other ones that I found were too specific. Like there's ones for mom friends, which, that's great for moms, but I'm not a mom. I mean, I'm a dog mom, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they're looking for. And then I found another one that's like for gym partners, but like I'm not going to the gym right now because of, well, they're not open, first of all. And I just don't, when I go to the gym, I go by myself anyways. Like I used to go with my cousin, but, our schedules just didn't work out. And honestly, I like going to the gym by myself. So, and yeah. I'm not looking for a gym partner, so I just didn't do that one. And then there's another one that's actually really interesting, but it's only for Apple users, but I'm an Android user and, I can hear like my family and some of my friends saying, see, this is another reason why you should switch to Apple. And plain and simple, I'm never going to switch to Apple. Well, I guess I shouldn't say never, but I'm not going to anytime soon. It's not that I don't like Apple or anything. I'm not saying that Apple's a bad phone or anything like that, but it's just all about preference, to be honest. I just don't care for it. I had an Apple phone for work and I just always preferred my Android over the Apple phone. And I don't know, maybe I'm just too old. Okay, I know I'm not that old, but I feel old sometimes and I'm just like, I don't know how to use this. And then if I switch to Apple, I have to figure out all these new functionalities. And I'm just like, no. I like my Android. It's easy. For me, it's easy to use. I know for some people, like I knew people who like switched from Apple to Android and were just completely lost. And they're like, how do you figure this out? And that's exactly how I feel when I like hold an Apple phone. I have no clue how to use it because it's different. So it's all preference, honestly. Like, I just hate the stupid like Apple versus Android debacle because it's so dumb. It's just preference, you guys. I don't know. I guess I can't say whether one is better than the other. I think it's just what you prefer. It's like forcing me to eat carrots. And I hate carrots. And it's like, I'm not saying carrots are bad or good. It's just some people like carrots, some people don't like carrots. And in this example, I hate carrots. Okay, I don't know if that's a stupid analogy. Anyways, back to the apps. So the first one I downloaded is Hey Vina. So Hey Vina, I hope that's right. I don't think it's Hey Vina because that sounds weird. But Hey Vina, I think it's like Venus, right? Because aren't women from Venus and boys are from Mars or something? Anyways, I don't know I didn't read their about me. So Hey Vina is owned by Tinder, the OG swipe left, swipe right app. So they made a friend app for women only though. So like no boys allowed. Sorry. So, so women only. You do have to connect to your Facebook to validate your gender, which is weird considering you can just change your gender on Facebook, but okay. Whatever works, I guess. So far, it's not like I came across a guy, and even if a guy ends up on Hey Vina, I'm pretty sure people will just swipe left anyways. So, I don't think you should try, because what's the point? People will just not want to be your friend. Anyways, so when you sign up for the app, they ask you preference questions. So they ask you like, do you prefer coffee or wine? Are you a night owl or an early bird? But what I found like really cool is that they also ask you whether you're an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert, which is awesome because so when I get to Bumble later, they don't actually ask you that. And I think that's so important to know whether a person is an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert. And I know like, with my episode with Casey, she's an extrovert through and through, and I'm an introvert through and through, and we're like really great friends. But it's still kind of good to know whether someone is an introvert or extrovert because, you know, chances are you're gonna, you know, be more compatible with someone with a similar personality trait to you, right? Okay, so they do ask your preferences, then they ask you like what communities you belong to. And so like there's like a whole slew of different communities. So like a few that oops, sorry, I hit my mic. I don't know if you can hear that. So a few of the ones that I picked, so dog owner, obviously, you know, like my friends like dogs, and I think it's really important that my friends like animals, and which all my friends love animals. I'm not friends with a single person who hates animals, and I don't like none of my friends like hate Link because that's just like a big no. Like you have to love animals. I'm sorry. Plus, like, why wouldn't you? I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, so another one's like foodies, obviously. Well, I shouldn't say obviously because you guys don't know me. At least some of you don't know me, but I do love food. And I totally like love going out and trying out new food and all that. And then another one that I belong to is like gamer girls. So the term gamer girl kind of makes me cringe a little bit because it's so weird. Like, why do you say gamer girl? It's not like we say gamer boys, you know? And like, unless it's like your profession, like you're not really like, it's weird to be called something or like being identified by your hobby, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, so I understand if you're called a gamer, if that's like what you do for a living, but like just to be called a gamer girl, like I think the whole gamer girl thing came about because it's not common. It's probably more common now, but it wasn't common for a girl to like video games. And it's like not like stereotypically like guys like video games, not girls. So I think that's why there's like the gamer girl community or whatever. It's just funny because it's like if you like biking, I don't call you a biker, or like if you're, you know, a stamp collector, I don't call you a stamp collector. Like that's not usually people are identified by their profession, which that's another thing that's weird too, but that's a different subject. In this instance, like it's fine to have like a gamer girl community because that's like it's like what community you're in. So, but I'm just saying like in general, when someone, I don't know, I cringe when someone like refers to somebody as a gamer girl just because she likes to play video games. Like, yeah, that's her hobby, but that's not like her identity. I don't know, whatever. It's hard to explain. Anyways, so back to the communities. So yeah, there's also like I'm also part of Homebodies, Sci-Fi Sisters, and Married. Yeah, I don't know. That's just, I guess, like if you don't want to be friends with married people, like you're not part of that community. You don't have to be part of that community. I don't know. I don't care if you're married or not. Like that doesn't define who you are. So anyways, so yeah, there's different communities. You can like pick and choose, and then you can also edit them too. And then you can like filter your radius. So if you don't want to like drive too far, I guess, you can like shorten your radius. Can't remember what the max is. You know what? I need to get my phone. Okay. So whoops. The max is, 100 miles. So if you don't mind being friends with people 100 miles away, then you can totally expand your radius. What did I do? I did 25 miles. I don't know how far that is actually from me, but I figured that's a good That's a good distance. That's like if you're on the freeway, half an hour drive. Um, Anyways, but if you don't mind like meeting people far away and just meeting halfway, then you can expand your radius. And then you can also filter by age. I believe so. Hey Vina is 16 through 70. Yeah, 16 to 70. So I don't, not gonna lie, I did filter just a little bit older. I think mid 20, I think like 25 or something like that. I'm just, I've always been told that I'm an old soul, so I don't really, vibe with younger people. That sounds bad, doesn't it? But I don't know. I'm not in that stage anymore. Like when I was in my early 20s, like I was just always out. We're always doing something and experimenting new things. And like, at that age, you're still like trying to figure yourself out and stuff like that. So I'm kind of over that. Like I figured myself out, I think by now. So I'm ready to be friends with someone who's already like, I guess established. I don't say established, but like someone who's not going through the whole identity search journey, whatever you want to call it. Um, So another thing with Vina is that you take quizzes, but honestly, I hate these quizzes. These quizzes are so dumb. So you can pick the quizzes and you can take all of them or none of them. And, they ask you questions, but the answers are images. And so I took one quiz and it was completely off. Oh, it was like my love languages. So I've already done, like, I know what my love language is. Like, I've done like the official quiz, like on the actual website, and I've actually learned about it in school and stuff. And like, I learned about that then. And when I did the love language quiz on here, because it's just images, it's like, I forgot what the questions are, but it's like, what would you want to do with your friends, to celebrate? And it's like different pictures of different activities. And so I just like kind of guessed. So I'm like, I don't know what this means. So I just picked different pictures. I just kind of went with whatever caught my eye. And I ended up with like completely wrong, love language. Cause I think one of the love languages, or I think the answer I got was like gifts. No, physical touch or something like that. And if you know me, like that's not my love language. I mean, I don't mind giving you a hug or whatever, but it's just not my main, like that's just kind of low on my list. And so I'm like, that's wrong. This quiz is stupid. So I just kept retaking it until I got the answer that's like the right answer. Cause I just, I didn't get it. So I don't know how much you can like really rely on the quizzes when because people might not know what their answer is. So they're just going to go with whatever the app tells you your answer is. So I don't know if you can like really rely on it. Like the whole love language, like it was completely off, but unless you know what your love language is, like you might end up with just whatever the app gives you. So yeah. So I didn't really match with a whole lot of people because there's not like a whole lot of people on there. There's not that many people, not as much as Bumble. Bumble definitely has a lot more, and I got a lot more matches. But I did get a couple matches on Hey Vina. So before I get to the Bumble app and explain a little bit of that one, I want to talk to you guys about Instacart. Instacart does the shopping for you and delivers your grocery to your doorstep. They connect you to a personal shopper who you can easily chat with online or on the mobile app. It's super easy to use and saves you on travel time and going through the store. Listeners will receive free delivery on your first order over $35. Follow the link in the description to let them know I sent you and to help support the show. Use Instacart and you'll never need to step into a grocery store again. All right. That's my last ad, I promise. Okay. So Bumble. So I found out that Bumble actually isn't just for dating. So you could actually use it for finding friends, like platonic friendships, and you can actually use it for business. So I'm not going to use it for business though. I do enough networking at work, so that's totally fine. But yeah, you can actually use it for that as well. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know Bumble could do that. I mean, I only found out about Bumble because of like my friends who use it. So it's cool to know that they have other options. So unlike Vina, men can also use this app, but I was reading through some Bumble articles, and although men can use it, they don't really use it. I guess it's a little weird. I guess it's normal for girls, like, I forgot the article said, honestly, but I guess it's just weird for guys to use a friend app. So, whatever. You guys, like, come on. If you can't find friends, just use the app. Who cares? No judgment. Anyways, so when you use the app for the friend option, you can't match with the opposite gender. So it's just like female to female, male to male. So no, even though I did stumble upon a couple of guys, I don't know, maybe they just created their profile wrong or something and accidentally picked the wrong gender. Anyways, so their setup is a little different from Vina. Instead of starting with your preferences, the questions definitely are more revolved around you. So like they ask your relationship status, like, are you single, married, what have you, your kid's status, whether you have kids or not. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you exercise? Do you smoke weed? Do you vote? Are you new to the area? They ask you about like what pets you have and your sign and your religion. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think those are good questions to ask, like if you're super like not into smoking cigarettes, like that could be a complete turn off even like with your friends, or like if you want someone who's more active in your community and votes, or maybe you don't want to be with people who have kids. I don't know, whatever. That's again, like your preference too. Like, so it's good to know these little details about you. You can connect your Instagram page and your Spotify. I didn't connect my Instagram page just because my Insta's like private. So I don't know how that would work. Plus, like, it's private for a reason. Like, I'm a pretty private person. Like, I was even really skeptical to even download these apps, but I was just curious. So, but yeah, so you can connect your Instagram page and your Spotify. So my Spotify is connected because it's just like the music I like. So there's nothing like, super personal about that, or private about that. Sorry. And then instead of quizzes, what I really like about Bumble is that you can answer questions instead. So there's like a whole list that you could pick from. And I think you can like pick 3 questions. Otherwise, I think if you did more, you have to like pay for it. There's some limitations. If you have the paid plan, there's like all kinds of other features that you get to have. So the questions that I picked, so I picked the ones like, do you prefer a nightclub or Netflix? If I had an extra hour in the day, what would I do? And like, what am I using BFF for? Oh, so it's called Bumble BFF, not just Bumble. So yeah, so you could like pick questions like that and then provide an answer. The thing with Bumble though versus like Hey Vina is there's definitely a bigger focus on pictures, I feel like, because in like Hey Vina, you just have your little circle profile picture and you can't even like enlarge it either. Like when I was trying to like click on it, cause like there's like one chick that had like a really tiny profile picture and I can't even see her. But you can't like zoom in or anything. So, but Bumble, it's like definitely more like, cause you can link your Instagram page. So you see like a little glimpse of the person's Instagram page. And then there's some profiles where it's literally just pictures only. So it's definitely like picture focused, I guess, if you will. Which I'm not like really big on. Like that's what I like about Vina. It's personality first, I feel like. And Bumble, it's like all about the pictures, but I'm not all about the pictures. Like my Instagram page, like if I were to put that on there, like to link it, I only have I have one selfie that's like an actual selfie that I took. And the second selfie was doing that black and white, women's challenge that's related to like the Turkish women, and like women empowerment and all that. So that's not really, I don't really count that as like a real selfie, if you will. But everything else is like of Link. So if you just want to see pictures of Link, that's pretty much all you're going to get if I'm going to link my Instagram page. So my experience with both apps have been pretty interesting so far. Like I've met a few girls that are pretty cool. I've just started using it, so it's not like we've really, like, I wouldn't say any of them are my friends yet, like, cause it's still like all new and it's just really interesting there's some people that I feel like, I I have a good connection with so far. But I'm a pretty skeptical person and I'm pretty private. Like I definitely have ounces of being a restrained introvert. So this is kind of it was kind of difficult actually doing these apps, being like partially restrained because like it's just putting like, you know, kind of like doing this podcast. It's like putting myself out there. So, but I feel like this is more intimate, like the whole, cause you're like trying to figure someone out and they're asking questions, like all kinds of questions about you and your interests and your likes and whatever. And like, at least with the podcast, I'm just talking about whatever I want to talk about. So it's not like these questions like towards me, and it's just like, it's definitely new. It's definitely different. It's weird, but I think it's like a really good idea, especially for introverts if they want to try to find new friends. And I do love like the whole, like how Havina like even gives you the choice to pick whether you're, you know, introvert, extrovert, ambivert. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, they follow the same, you know, like Tinder. You swipe left for no, swipe right for yes. So for me, I swiped left. If your profiles were pictures only, like I need more substance. I need more than just like what you look like. Like I really need to know your personality to see if we're even gonna click, you know, like, like your selfies don't tell me anything, to be honest. So I swiped left for those, and I swiped left for anyone who like their pictures are only them partying or clubbing. And that's it. Like that's the only pictures that they have because I just don't know if we're even going to click. Like when the quarantine is done and over with, like I'm sure they're going to want to go to the clubs all the times and go, you know, go bar hopping or whatever. And even though I do enjoy that every once in a while, that's not like my main form of entertainment. And I feel like we just wouldn't click because I'm not a club person. I don't even own clubbing clothes. Like, when the very few times I did go, it was like such a struggle because I didn't know what to wear, and I don't wear like heels very often and wear like really dressy clothes like that. Like that's not like my outfit of choice. So yeah, so those girls, I'm sure they're nice and I'm sure they're great people, whatever. But if that's like the only thing you want to share is like your clubbing and partying pictures, I just don't think we would click. So I swiped left for those. And just basically anyone that just doesn't have enough info in their bio. I just, like I said, the pictures only ones, I need more. Like, cause there's some people who they'll answer the questions, sure, but they're always like really short answers. There's like not a lot of substance, and I need substance, like, cause I don't really care about what you look like. I care more about like your personality and whether our personalities would click or not. And so if there's like no substance, pictures only, and then like, if you're doing majority of your pictures are like activities I would never do also, like, I just swipe left. I did swipe right on a lot of like, so in like Havina, how it was saying like introvert, extrovert, ambivert. I did swipe right a lot for introverts. And I know like my cousin Casey is an extrovert and I love her and I love hanging out with her. But at the same time, there's just so many extroverts in my life already. Like, I don't need more. That sounds mean. Don't take this the wrong way, Casey, if you're listening. But I already have enough extroverts in my life, just plain and simple. Like if I want to go out and party, I got a whole group of those type of people I can chill and hang out with and call last minute if I really want to do that. So I did, focus more on people who are introverts. I did swipe right on a lot of introverts, a lot of ambiverts too, because they kind of go both ways, right? And I did swipe right of a lot of people who, or a lot of women who are identified as gamer girls or are part of the gamer girl community, and girls who like anime, and like, because out of my friends, like, so people who aren't family, because like a lot of my family watches anime and plays video games and whatever, and I don't know if that's an Asian thing or whatever, but my friends, a lot of them don't play video games, or at least not like how I play video games. Like I do have my one friend who plays Animal Crossing a lot, like she has an amazing village, but I don't have friends who are like actual like like into a lot of the same games I'm into. Like not just, Animal Crossing is kind of a good game for everybody. I think everybody enjoys it. But then if you're like really into like computer games or whatever, there's like the whole like the RPGs, and there's like all these like multiplayer games that like I really love like Fallout, mainly Fallout 3 and like New Vegas. And then I like Fable, and I love like The Witcher's really good too. I didn't finish that though. I don't know if my husband's listening because he's gonna be like, you didn't finish it. But a lot of my girlfriends just don't like video games the same way I like video games. And then a lot of my girlfriends also don't watch anime. So there's like a lot of, interests that I have that my current girlfriends don't have. So it'd be cool to like meet other people who are also interested in those other interests that I have. Not that I don't love my girlfriends now. I love them to death. And honestly, like the apps I did the apps more as an experiment. For the podcast, really, it's mainly for the podcast is why I did it. But if I was able to find like really cool chicks to hang out with, along the line, then that's even just like a double plus for me. And I actually did meet a lot of girls that are like interested in the same things that I'm interested. And I've had like, so far I've gotten like really good conversations. So there's this one chick who did, reach out to me, and she seemed cool, but all our conversations were really short. And then she just told me to follow her on Instagram. And then that was like the end of our conversation. So it wasn't very substantial. There wasn't like a whole lot of, I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of like meaningful conversations, which if you've been listening to my podcast, you know that introverts typically like really love those intimate, deep conversations, like one-on-one conversations. And then I didn't get that from her. And it felt like she just wanted me to follow her on Instagram. Like I felt like she was just doing the what's it called? The app just to get more followers. So there are going to be like some people like that who are trying to cater to you, but then really it's just for just for the follow, I guess. I don't know what they're trying to do. Anyways, so to recap, Havena is great. It's very personality focused. I do like that you can pick whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, an ambivert. I do like the little preferences. I like that they give you such a big allowance for the About Me section. Like I wrote a lot for my About Me section. And I really I think it's a great app. However, the quizzes suck. I don't like the quizzes. I don't trust the answers that you get for the quizzes because like, it's just, like I said, they're like picture focused. So I don't understand what the answers are supposed to be because they're just pictures and not words. So I don't rely on the quizzes like at all. I solely look at the About Me section and the preferences. Another big problem with Havena is just not a lot of people use it. There's just not as many women on there, and I definitely didn't get as many matches as I did on Bumble. So although there's a lot of pros and cons, it's just, I think that's one of the bigger cons just because you just won't find as many people, unfortunately. And then for Bumble, I think Bumble's great. I like those questions that they ask you, at the beginning, like your relationship status, whether you smoke or drink or smoke weed or, that kind of stuff. I do like that. I don't like that your About Me is so short because like I said earlier, like I'm all about substance. I'm all about knowing you like as a person, and I don't really care about your pictures. No offense, but I just don't care about what you look like. I want to know more about you. And so, that's kind of the con for me, at least for Bumble. It's very picture heavy. You have like, it's mostly the pictures, and then you have like even their Instagram page linked, and you don't have to like answer the questions, and you don't have to add an About Me. You don't even have to do like those little preference or those little like questionnaire that they do about like the relationship status and stuff like that. So you can actually just have a profile that's just or just pictures. And I don't really care for that. But what I do like about Bumble are the questions. Like I like that there's like a slew of questions you can answer because that can really, give you an insight what a person is like or like what she's like and all that. So I do like the questions. And And I do like the little questionnaire that they have. Oops, my phone. Oh, I don't know if you heard my phone, but I just got a match on Bumble. Anyways, yeah. So what was I saying? So yeah, Bumble. I don't like that you're limited on your about me. That's very picture heavy. But I do like the questions, and I do have, there's way more people on Bumble, like way more. And I got way more matches on Bumble than I did on Hey So, honestly, I feel like if Hey and Bumble like were to collaborate and just, create a whole new app with, pros from both sides, like it would be a really great app, because then you could be picture heavy, but also like personality heavy. So you get like a best of both worlds. Cause I personally like Hey more because it is about the personality. But Bumble just gives you more matches and just gives you more people, and more people use it. And I think it's a more well-known app. So another pro for both apps, actually, this is more for my LGBTQ plus, listeners. I don't know if I have any, but if I do, they're both like super supportive of that community. And there's a lot of people who are just like, it's very like LGBTQ plus friendly, which I think is pretty awesome. But also, I'm not gonna lie, I do live in California, so I don't know if that's gonna be the same everywhere else, but at least in like my area in general, it's pretty friendly and very inclusive and all that. But yeah, so that's all I got for you guys on those two apps. It's been interesting. I've met some interesting people. If you know of any good apps, or if you tried these two apps, let me know like what you thought about it. Did you find any like really meaningful like relationships? Did you meet any really cool people? Are you still friends with those people? Like, did you meet like your best friend on there? Let me know. And if you like the episode, please go follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at The Talkative Introvert Podcast. I'm also on Facebook, same thing, The Talkative Introvert. I also have a website, why am I on the website? The Talkative Introvert podcast.com. Go check it out. If you've enjoyed the show, please share it with other people, let them know about it. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the support, and thank you for the ratings, the reviews, the follows, everything. Thanks guys. All right. Well, I will talk to you in the next episode.